What happened to the temple devotees? Anyway, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamahyam Dadati Sapatantikam Vanchakalpatru Vishya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gauru Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, King Muchukunda, who appeared in the Ikshvaku's dynasty, he was the son of a very famous king, Mandata, and he fought once for the demigods. We have read all that here. And after fighting for demigods and winning the battle for them, the demigods were very pleased and they said, you ask for any benediction, anything but Kaivalya. Kaivalya is the lowest of the 5 liberations. But even that, the demigods were frankly saying, they are unable to give. What are the 5 forms of liberation? Huh? It's okay. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarishti.
Sashti.
No, anyway, one more thing is there. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarishti, and this one is Kaivalya. Kaivalya is impersonal liberation, and the other 4 are liberations in Vaikuntha planets. Sa comes from the word samam, Sarupya, same, or he, Sarupya, whatever form he has, you have. You can see the Vishnu Dutas have the same form as the Lord. Samipya, always being close to him. Sarupya, Samipya. Salokya, staying in the same planet, that's of course the first of the 4. And Sarishti, having the same opulences as the Lord. And in Gaudiya Vaishnava Vedanta, of course all the Vaishnavas reject Kaivalyam, but in Gaudiya Vaishnava Vedanta they reject also the other 4. And so in Goloka they have all those liberations in one form or another. But, they have a very special relationship with the Lord. And so the demigods are factually saying you can ask for any benediction except Kaivalya. So, 18, 19, 20, 21. Addressed thus, King Muchukunta took his respectful leave of the demigods and went to a cave where he lay down to enjoy the sleep they had granted him. So this verse is like a sudden jump, because they said you asked for any benediction, and normally what benediction he asked would be stated. But it simply says that he took respectful leave of them and put to use the benediction they gave of deep sleep. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following lines from an alternate reading of this chapter. These lines are to be inserted between the two halves of this verse. So this verse was apparently incomplete, and this full verse says, "The king, exhausted by his labor, then chose sleep as his benediction. He further stated, O best of the demigods, may whoever disturbs my sleep be immediately burnt to ashes." The demigods replied, "So be it," and told him, "That insensitive person who wakes you in the middle of your sleep will immediately turn to ashes simply by your seeing him." So the demigods told Muchukunda, "You can ask for any benediction you want." And so when Muchukunda said, "Let me get undisturbed sleep as my boon, because I fought for so long, must have been a very tiring battle." And they said yes, and he also didn't want to be disturbed. Then he said, "Then whoever disturbs and wakes me up, they should be burnt to ashes as soon as I see them." And the demigods, without any thinking, they said, "Yes, so be it." So it means they were so powerful. How did they arrange for that? Did they put some sensitive camera detection which triggers something? So whatever it is, they have their own technologies. And they were so powerful, they could immediately not only say yes, but also implement that benediction. But they said that they cannot give kaivalya, then what to speak of other forms of liberation. So one of the names of Krishna is Mukunda, which comes from the mukti. He gives, so he is called as Mukunda. So obviously that's an affectionate short form of mukti, dha, dadati. So Mukunda is just like Krishna is called Kanaya. In South India, if you have a name Govindarajan, they call you Gondu. It's not a full name, but it means, Govindarajan, shortened form like that. Mukunda is affectionate form. And Krishna also says in the Bhagavad-gita, Mameva yo prabhatyante maya metam tarantite. Only those who surrender to me, they can actually overcome the cycle of birth and death. So we can imagine how powerful these demigods must be, that they could give such a benediction to Muchukunda immediately. And it also worked. It's not just simply saying yes. They must have done something, just like if you go to meet a rich person and you tell him, I need 1 crore donation for our temple, and he says, yes, I'll give. Then he will tell, just you can wait, or my secretary will mail it, or this or that. So their word has got power, but behind that there is also a mechanism. So the demigods are so powerful that they gave that benediction. But they cannot actually, they are also subject to birth and death. Brahmal bhavana loke punaravartino arjuna. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad-gita, even the great demigods who are so powerful, demigods can appear and disappear. Suddenly here Indra can appear if he wants. Practically like God. If you didn't know about God, by seeing Indra or Chandra, people will be bewildered. They'll think he's God because he's so powerful. And they don't even appear in Kali Yuga on earth. You see? That's like a rich man. Why would he go to Zopadapatti? It's not a place for him to go. So, at the start of Kali Yuga, when King Janamejaya was doing a sacrifice to avenge the death of his father Parikshit, then all the demigods came and they all sat in a yajna. Not only they sat, they gave the benediction that anyone who comes to that yajna, they can see them. Because they said this is the last time in Kali Yuga, people will be able to see the demigods. So, people were actually, they could see the demigods at that time. Afterwards, nobody has seen. Still, this culture is so powerful that, there are in so many places, so many demigods are worshipped, in India especially. So, that is, there are 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. And Satya, Treta and Dwapara constitute 90% of the Chatur-yuga. And 90% of the time the Vedic literatures, they are supreme, they are followed. And even in Kali Yuga, 5,000 years is gone, still there's something is left, but it's almost gone. And in normal Kali Yuga, it will go away. And by Krishna's arrangement, demoniac class of people, they will become very powerful, and religion will be completely, extinguished, and people will be just like animals. They won't even know that they are suffering. They won't know the cause of anything, and it is described that people will be maximum 19 inches tall, and 19 inches is only this much, and all kinds of sinful activities will take place. But in this Kali Yuga, however, that natural progression of Kali Yuga is stopped, and Lord Chaitanya brings in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is the only time everybody gets the opportunity to try and go back to Godhead, get liberation. The demigods, they can give material benedictions, but they cannot purify people. And if they cannot purify people, how can you get liberated? Long time ago, I used to give the example that if you go to a rich man and you say, and you got all torn clothes, and you have not eaten for a long time, you have not shaven. Oh, I'm so hungry, can you give me some food? And he gives you not only food, then he gives you nice, golden shawl and things like that, golden jewelry and diamonds and all, and you are so satisfied. And you come out, and you go on the street, the policeman is watching you, says, "Who is this guy? Come here." And he says, "What is this?" "Oh, it's this golden dress I got." "From where?" "Oh, this man gave." "Really?" "Remove that," and he removes, and he has got torn dress, and he's stinking, dirty. So the policeman says, "This cannot be real," and he takes it and he punishes him. Like that, the demigods give material benedictions, but the soul inside is full of material desires, stinking, he is very dirty. They cannot purify that. They simply give benedictions. This gets us into more trouble. This is the flaw of worshipping demigods. People don't know that. They can get material benedictions, but they will not be purified. But Krishna is like the person to whom if you go with all dirty dress and you are like that, and you tell him, oh, I'm so hungry, please give me something. Krishna says, well, first you remove those dirty clothes, and here, get shaved nicely, and here, get dressed here, you go to the shower and you dress, and the shower has got so beautiful water, and you come out smelling nice and great, and then they gives you nice dress and nice this and nice that, and then he gives you a big feast, and then after that he gives you all Sanman. When you go outside, the same policeman, when he sees you with the same excellent dress and all that, he'll say, good morning, sir, because he sees that this person must be very good. So, in the devotees, whatever benedictions Krishna gives, they come after purification. So Krishna has his own method, and so the devotees should be eager for actually becoming clear of material contamination. This is the first and foremost goal. Cheto darpana marjanam. That one, we must actually purify our existence. The problem with the Vedic civilization that has been followed for many yugas in India is that people are trying to fulfill their material desires by following Vedic path without getting purified. So Krishna Bhakti is the only way you can actually get purified. So we should not think that this is some automatic process. Rather, we should know what happens, what are the various steps of chanting and performing devotional service. Not that you keep on doing this at the end of your life, suddenly something will happen. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati anta kalaivaram tam tam yeveshasi kaunteya. Whatever you think throughout your life, that will determine what you think at the end of your life, and that's what you will become. While it is true that whatever you think at the moment of death, that's what you will become, it is not true that you can think whatever you want at the time of death. Because at the time of death, everything is disturbed. Extraordinary disturbance will take place. And then, at that time, it is very difficult to think properly for anybody except the greatest of the yogis. And therefore, whatever we have thought throughout the life, that's what will come. So it is important to practice throughout your life, throughout our lives, remembrance of Krishna, so that at the end of life we can remember Krishna. Tam tam eveshasi kaunteya. So this point of spiritual life is not known to the general public at large. It is not described by the government. It is not described by the professors in universities. It's not even described by religious leaders. You just go to religious leaders, they say, yes, everything is nice and we are doing this, public project, we are doing this, we are doing that, we are starting an ICAM. People are willing to give money for such things. But they are not told what is the goal of life. The goal of life is actually to recognize that for millions and 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 millions of lives, I have actually rotated in various forms of, species of life. I have been a crocodile, I have been a fish, I have been a rat, I have been a cat, I have been a dog, I have been a tree, I have been a flower. And now I have got the human, but also I got many times I wasted it by being irreligious or religious and irreligious, doesn't matter. So extraordinary, so this material world, no one figures out actually what is the goal. But Krishna consciousness is the place where you are supposed to know And if you simply think, oh, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'll chant, I'll go back to Godhead. No, that is not good enough, because without actual knowledge, it is not possible to get out of the clutches of material energy. Baito. So, sit down. Turn this way. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, anyway, and this point has to be understood. How am I going to be washed of my sins? Because Krishna says, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. If we don't come to the platform of sinlessness. And what is sinlessness? Sinlessness means anything I do for my pleasure, that's a sin. Even if it is dharma, it's a sin. So this is the most beautiful insight of Gaudiya Vaishnava Vedanta, that a bala, a manda, arasa brahma. The idea that this is good, this is bad, this is sinful, that is good and not sinful, all of this is illusion. What is that? Yajñarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If we do not perform activities for Krishna purely, then everything we do is sinful. I mean, general. Of course, devotees are in the platform of Krishna consciousness, but we must always, at least I am always examining, what is the motive for me to do devotional service? Because Krishna says, Chaturvija bhajante mam jana sukritino Arjuna. So it's not that everybody is coming with the same motivation. That's not what Bhagavad-gita says. And so it behooves upon us to ask, where am I in Krishna consciousness? And how can I advance? And getting rid of sinful activities is not merely a question of stopping smoking, or stopping drinking, or not eating meat, which of course the devotees do as soon as they come to Krishna consciousness, not taking tea and coffee. The regulative principles are there, but ultimately becoming sinless means to give up this misconception that I am this body. Because Srila Prabhupada writes that the body is a symbolic representation of the material desires of the living entity. Material desires, we mean desires for one's own happiness. So Kaivalya, liberation, is also because the living entity wants for himself cessation of material suffering. That's called liberation, Kaivalya. And that is also a sinful activity. Kaivalyam narakayate, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. It is like hell to be in Brahman. That is possible only for those who love Krishna actually. You see? Just like a mother, if the mother has got a newborn baby, 10 days old, and somebody tells the mother, I'll give you, $1 million, and you give up this child, she'll say, no, that's hellish. For a real mother, that's like that. Because the love of the child is so strong. Similarly, only when one's love for Krishna is very strong can one actually see that everything else is very bad. Otherwise, at the time of death, if I have done devotional service and Krishna will come, but at the same time, whatever desires I have, they will also manifest in the form of a nice place in a heavenly planet. And I may be just looking there, looking at Krishna, and then slowly start moving this way. And Krishna is watching, he says, fine, if you want to enjoy that, you enjoy. See? Even people like Dhruva Maharaj, and they're going back to Godhead. They're taken through all the heavenly planets, and the people who are piloting the plane are telling Dhruva Maharaj, just see, this heavenly planet is like that, every heavenly planet has got some fantastic thing. And Dhruva Maharaj is simply sitting there, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He's not saying, oh, that looks very nice, can we just stop for a minute and see this? No. So this business of stopping for a minute to take a look at what the garden of material, forest of material enjoyment has, that is the deep desire of the living entity. Only when one becomes, as a result of lot of service, when one realizes by Krishna's mercy the difference between, you see, the mind and the soul, and the difference between desires of the mind and desires of the soul, and the difference between material existence, spiritual existence, it is not possible to give up the subtle and gross bodies, and it is not possible to achieve kaivalya, without which there is no point of going back to God. It's not possible. So, it is such a simple thing that old Muchukunda ask for anything other than kaivalya, and devotee will say, no, matlab liberation, let us say. They'll say, no, we don't want anything else. I only want this. So this, we must learn, we must become experts in examining ourselves. To what extent I only want Krishna, I don't want anything else. Sunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. If I don't actually, if I'm not with Krishna, the whole world, of course, right from the beginning when devotees join, because Prabhupada's, presentation is so powerful, all of us are, somehow it seems like all the time we are thinking about Krishna. We may be in the temple taking darshan, we go to take prasadam, we are thinking about Krishna, we are hearing somebody is reading, and we do service, and even devotees walking. It is a fact that devotees are thinking always about Krishna, and therefore they are very, very dear. And therefore, it is one of the offenses of chanting the holy name to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to the propagation of the holy name. While that is there, and there is also the point that unless we give up our sinful activities completely, because of our ability and willingness to do sinful activities, that we are in the material world, that is true even of demigods, and what to speak of others. Not to speak of others. Otherwise, why would Indra become a crow and try to go and touch Mother Sita? That too inappropriately. Indra is such a great demigod. So, the sinful activities are very deep in the heart. Prabhupada has explained there are 4 types of karma, is in that, those in seed form, those who are fructified, those who are not fructified, prarambha, prarabdha, like that. And those seeds in the heart are bigger than Mount Everest. But they are very subtle and they are lying in the mind. But the number of such seeds are unlimited millions. So we will not be able to take one desire after another desire after another desire. But all those desires have to be completely given up simply by getting attached to Krishna consciousness. And that attachment always comes only in the form of practical service. So this is, it looks like a very simple verse, but it actually gives the essence that nobody other than Krishna can actually help you. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung in praise of Lord Chaitanya, Ami bina bandhu ara ke ache tomara. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, except for me, who is your friend? Because the demigods are not your friends. They can give you material desires, but it will continue your cycle of birth and death. I am the only one who can actually take you out. So the devotee must be very, very, at least I try to tell myself all the time, that this is the only chance. And of course, Krishna gives benediction, a promise. Aham tvam sarva papabhya mokshayisyami masuchaha. If you actually surrender to me and serve me as all devotees are doing in the temple, I protect you from all sinful activities and I'll take you to the other side, don't worry. At the same time, we must always be very, very, very busy. They said I should go up to 26, but it's good enough, I think, right? There's another verse next, 23 to 26. Yeah, I did 21, then 22. What is that? There's some gap here. And then he just says that he got the boon and he went and slept, and then the Yavana was burnt, and the Lord revealed himself to Muchukunda. So that's the next verse. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a very wonderful lecture. You very nicely brought out the difference between worshipping demigods and Lord Krishna. My question is, in third canto Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila says that just like when you give the food to the stomach, the Jataragni burns the food into ashes. In the same way, intense devotional service burns the subtle body. So, when a devotee becomes perfect, like you are saying, Krishna or Vishnu Dutas are taking the soul. Krishna or Vishnu Dutas are taking the soul to Vaikuntha planet. On the way, they are seen all this, they are shown all this extra, opulence and all. That means the subtle body is still there, while the soul is being taken. How they become attracted?
They didn't get attracted. Dhruva Maharaj didn't.
Not Dhruva. Like you mentioned, that suppose a soul is being taken, and if somebody becomes attracted to enjoying...
Not soul being taken at the moment of his death. It is, the example is given of the Kamblipuchi. What is it called in English? The caterpillar. So the caterpillar, if you see, he'll be in one leaf. He'll just come, half of the body will be outside the leaf. And if he'll feel like he's going to fall off this leaf, he'll catch that other leaf and then let go of this and then slowly go into the... So until he gets that next leaf, he will not leave this leaf. Like that, until the next body is already prepared, the soul doesn't leave this body. So Krishna, at the time of death, when he comes, then he gives a choice, that's what I'm saying. If the soul is not pure, how he goes, despite having done Krishna consciousness, to take another birth is what I was trying to tell.
So, without being taken, they are just shown at the time of death, the choice.
Yeah. For the devotee who practiced, is given a choice. Always choice, devotee is given. At every moment, we have a choice to act in a Krishna conscious way or in Maya. Even in ordinary devotional life, you can see that. So
that means one has to be very, very careful.
That is the point of the...
Even at the time of, during perfection.
That is exactly what I'm saying. That we can do devotional service, but at the end, the choice will be given if we are not pure. But if we are lucky, somehow we practice ourselves now. That is why in devotional service, we should always make Krishna conscious choices. We should never think materially. Should never think materially. Oh, this, that. So, in this life, we must therefore practice renunciation. We should not be attracted by post, or we should not be attracted by, chances to preach. We should not be attracted that we have followers. You see? These are all not important. It's not important. Whatever will come, will come. Oh, you have been so long in the movement, why have you not become a sannyasi? Nobody is asking, you have been so long in the movement, why you have not become a devotee? Isn't it? That's a more important question they should ask. So that's a very wrong understanding of progress. Am I making sense? So that is exactly the point I was making. I didn't elaborate it. It's good that you asked the question. The point is that whether you are pure or impure will be known by how you react to the situations that are presented to you. So even at that death, after death, Dhruva Maharaj was given the show of all that. He didn't even bother. Of course, he made another technical point that if someone is fully freed of material existence, he cannot see the heavenly planets even. They don't even exist. It's all illusion. Just like a person who wakes up and he was dreaming, he was in the forest is no longer there. So it is a fact. Earlier on there was, in Chennai I was giving a class, so in that class it is said Markandeya was, because he was in complete devotional trance, he did not see Lord Shiva coming, because that was on the external plane. So anyway, that's an advanced topic. But the point is, that's a good point you made, that why is he even seeing the heavenly planets? So, in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, we don't know. I don't know at least. But the point I was making is that we will be given choice at the time of death, and that we have to learn to practice to choose Krishna over everything else. And the entire idea of being a full-time devotee in the temple, full-time really means not fully residing in the temple just. Full-time really means all the time, every moment, choosing Krishna over everything else. That we have to practice. That's the most important.
Thank you. It's a very good advice.
Yeah, no, I'm giving it for myself, not to speak of others.
One thing, I'm very surprised that in some cases, like Gajendra says in his prayers, that yad dharma kamartham sa vimukti kama bhajanti istam, gatim apnuvanti. And he says that those who worship you for dharma kamartha, they get the desire. But he says sometimes even for them you give deham avyaya, means you give eternal body. So that is why I am praying to you, my dear Lord, that give me eternal body. So in some cases, Krishna, even if somebody has worshipped Krishna for material desires, Krishna is adabradaya.
Well, this is also an important point. One should understand. Why is it that I have become a devotee? I've given up everything in the material world. I've joined the temple. Why is it that I'm not fully freed? Why am I not in the spiritual world? Of course, we are in the spiritual world here, but why doesn't it become more manifest? Or even simply, why doesn't Krishna take everybody who comes to him back to Godhead? It's a very, very important question. So that we should know that it is not automatic. One answer is that all parts of the creation are kingdom of God. Even Bombay is Vaikuntha. But that will be known only to those who are devotees. Like in Bombay, there is this temple, there's another temple, Chowpatty here, Meera Road, like that, and the devotees are staying. It's Vaikuntha life for them. Same Bombay. And others are welcome. Prabhupada said, everyone can come and stay in the temple. We can take everybody, unlimited. No shortage of space, no shortage of funds, no shortage of food. Krishna will provide everything. They're not coming. So, a place is Vaikuntha because Krishna is there and devotees are there. Therefore, wherever you are, Krishna can say, well, I'm here also. And so why are you not worshipping me? There's no material circumstances that can stop you from being in Vaikuntha. Everywhere is Vaikuntha. Therefore, if we try to argue with Krishna, why you have taken such a so and so to Vaikuntha, why you have not taken me? No. It is just that different levels of devotees, they desire different levels of constant association with Krishna. So, and he provides them. That's all the difference in Kingdom of Godhead. And Goloka is considered the highest because there are devotees there who cannot, even for the moment of a blinking of an eye, be without Krishna. I'm not like that. So there are devotees in Bombay too, Bombay Vaikuntha, who cannot be without Krishna. They come at least once a month to the temple. That's also Vaikuntha. Krishna says, yeah, they like, that's all. The rest of the time, they don't want to come. You have to leave him like that. You cannot force people. Krishna doesn't force anybody. So, everybody may be worshipping Krishna for dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But when Krishna judges even a little possibility for encouraging him, he gives. That must come from us, not from Krishna. So Prabhupada said always, Krishna is more interested in taking us back, go home back to Godhead, than we are interested in going. So one must know, and it is a fact that for a devotee who is going out and preaching and everything is Vaikuntha. Wherever he goes, he just sees people, he preaches. All of you are doing, you are experiencing. But the point I am saying is that we must be self-critical and say, why is it that even though Krishna is giving me all these opportunities, still my mind is running and still that is another subject matter. That's what I'm saying. So this progress in Krishna consciousness comes from inside, not outside. Krishna has given the same things. Whatever is in the spiritual world is in the material world. Everything he has given. There is no difference. Isn't it? Once one devotee had a vision, and in the vision he was in Goloka, and there was everybody was eating. Krishna also said, come and eat with us. And he sat down, and a beautiful laddu came. So many colors and so beautiful, so fragrant, everything wonderful. Wow! He took and he said, never could I have taken a laddu like this in the material world. Krishna said, no, the laddu is the same. The same laddu that's in the material world is in the spiritual world. But there, I'm not there. Here, there it is not made for me. Here it's made for me. That's the only difference. The only difference between Vaikuntha and rest of the place is in the rest of the place, everything happens for our pleasure. And in Vaikuntha, everything takes place for only Krishna's pleasure. Therefore, I said, sinful activity means anything we do for our pleasure, and good activity is what we do for Krishna's pleasure. And whenever we do things purely for Krishna's pleasure, it is actually called Vaikuntha. Then one can ask, but how do I know what I am doing is for my pleasure, not for Krishna's pleasure? I may be chanting, but I may be wanting to just get this and that and everything. Therefore, when you do something because you want to do this for Krishna, that's not very good. When you do something because someone who is serving Krishna tells you to do, then that is for Krishna. That's another topic.
हरे कृष्ण।
राधा कृष्णा प्रभु।
मैं हिंदी बताऊंगा, आप थोड़ा इंग्लिश भी बता सकते हैं, नो प्रॉब्लम। जैसे प्रभु आपने कहा कि हम लोग भक्त आए यहाँ पर, 4 नियम का पालन प्रभुपाद जी ने बताया, वो पूरा पालन कर रहे हैं और भक्ति कर रहे हैं, दिन रात वही भक्ति कर रहे हैं। लेकिन 20 साल 30 साल 40 साल सो के होने के बाद भी, जैसे आपने एक वर्ड कहा कि मैं ये बॉडी नहीं हूँ, मैं आत्मा हूँ, ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे हम लोग आया नहीं। तो क्या क्या है ये वजह, क्या है, कैसे समझ सकते कभी कब हम आएंगे इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे?
So Radha Krishna Prabhu is asking for the benefit of the world. He knows the answer, आपको मालूम है. So he is asking the question, even after being so long in devotional service, we are not understanding I am not the body. Why is that? क्यों? These are the points of Srimad Bhagavatam class. What does it mean to say I am not the body? You see? Because I am thinking I am the body. That I, which is even beyond false ego, is the soul. Just like when some karmi person, he has to go outside for a meeting and he wears a nice shirt, a nice tie, nice suit, for his shoes and everything, and he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's saying, oh, I'm looking so good. You're not looking good. The suit is looking good. You have put a lot of money into the suit. And it's a good suit. It's a good shirt. It's not you. You are the same. But you are thinking I'm looking good, but actually you put money to get a good suit and the suit is looking good. Because when you go outside, somebody will say, nice suit you got. Where did you get it from? This is the problem, that when the living entity works very hard and by his activities he gets a body, he is very attracted to it. He is thinking, I look good now. Wow, I'm a crocodile. Wow, look at my mouth so big, I can catch anybody. He's very happy. So, then the Shastras are saying, you are not the suit. Like that, I'm not the body. It's just a slight misunderstanding, not big. If you tell that person, no, you're not looking good, the suit is good. Yeah, but I'm wearing that suit. Yeah, but if somebody else wears that suit also, it will be good. Because it's a high-class suit, you have paid $2,000 for it. So he knows, but he is completely absorbed in that idea that I need this suit and I have to wear it. You don't need it. Sukadeva Goswami didn't have a suit. He was just going without anything. We cannot imitate Sukadeva Goswami, but it shows that suit is not required. Suit is not required at all. He didn't wear tie, he didn't wear shoes, socks, nothing. So that is the truth. This is not just an example. Actually, you don't need dress. Digambara, some people follow. Digambara. Dig means direction. Direction means space. Space is the dress. Okay, they are just trying to do that. But anyway, that is not required. Neetalum, Maritalum, Venda, they say Samana. The same Samanas have said that also. There's no need to either you grow your hair long or to cut it, shave it. That's not the point. Spiritual life is different. So this identification of myself, I am the one who is identifying. I am identifying myself with the body by a very simple mistake. You are wearing the suit and you think you look good. You are still you. You are still that person. And the suit is still different from you. But you are momentarily not knowing. So this is the tragedy of the soul, that he has worked hard to get a body, whatever body that is, blade of grass. He is after, Lord Brahma says in second canto, whatever body he gets, even a cockroach, he becomes happy in that. So every body has got some extraordinary thing and the soul goes. So we must be fearful. So that question must be asked, why am I still thinking I am this body? The knowledge that is required to come out of it is very little. You don't have it. I don't have it. This is very, very important, isn't it? How to actually become free of material existence. And when you become free of material existence, it's a science, because no more eating, no more eating, no more sleeping, no more defense. Like I always say, the devotees join the temple, they're given up defense. No more defense. You're not going outside, oh, I have to get some 10 rupees and keep. No. But just as completely as you are given up defense, you can give up everything else. Otherwise, sometimes people go back. They leave the temple, they go take jobs. So the soul is the one who is thinking I am the body, and he is associated with the body by attachment. And the thing that makes him bewildered to thinking I am the body is consciousness, is the same thing that can purify him. So that consciousness of the soul, either it goes to the attachment of the body or goes to the attachment of the pure devotee. That's all. That Lord Kapila says, isn't it? Same thing. That just as the same yogurt which is causing dysentery, then if you add a little black pepper and take, it stops it. Similarly, the same consciousness which is actually attaching to the body, when actually it gets attached to the pure devotee, the door to liberation opens. So this business of going from I am the body to I am soul is very subtle. Just like that you can come to it. To make the soul come to that platform is the purpose of all this discussion about Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam. Everything else is, this is the only goal. Who will know?
तो महाराज जैसे अभी हमारे सामने कदम काना महाराज का जो बड़ी थोड़ा
कदम कानन
तो मैंने सुना कि उन्होंने पहले थोड़ा दूध लिया, बाद में पानी लिया, बाद में पानी के बाद कुछ भी नहीं लिया,
पानी के बाद
कुछ भी नहीं लिया,
कुछ भी नहीं,
शरीर 8 दिन तक कुछ भी नहीं लिया. उसके बाद उन्होंने शरीर को शांत किया, लेकिन लास्ट मोमेंट तक उनके जो शरीर के ऊपर इतना तेज था. तो ये क्या वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गया उनको कि मैं बॉडी नहीं हूं?
No, we don't know. We can't discuss specific devotees. It's not possible. I don't even know what happened in his class. You are saying. That's not how you got. This is a general class. Medical professor is giving a lecture in college. That's a general medical. You want treatment, you have to go to his clinic. So this is not for specific problems, specific instances. That's only for the devotees mentioned in Bhagavatam. Anybody else here? Anybody has a question? Yeah?
Hare Krishna. Even the very advancement stage, he was practicing the sadhana, Muchkunda Maharaj. But still their bodily requirements is needs. He need to sleep and take rest. Even the stage of mukti, there is also bodily requirements is necessary.
I mean, I indicated it in my class. जब वो देवता लोग ने बोला उनको कैवल्य मत पूछो, बाकी कुछ भी चाहिए पूछो. Then he should have said, I said, then I don't want anything from you as a devotee. You should just go. But he had some role to play for Krishna because this Kalyavana has to be killed. So he took that benediction because Krishna wanted him to do that. As a devotee, then he personally came in touch with Krishna. All those things are there. So in his case, we cannot criticize this. It's a Bhagavata, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam. But in general, if a a demigod comes in front of Krishna, a devotee and asks, what do you want? Devotee is not to ask for material benedictions. The devotee should always ask, please bless me so that I can become a better devotee. Just like Prabhupada's father, whenever any sadhu came, he said, please bless my son so that he'll become a good servant of Radharani. Very great benediction.
There is Purattalvar. One person asked, one devotee asked him that if you meet demigods, what you will do? Then Purattalvar chastised him, you asked the wrong question. You should have asked, when demigods meet a devotee, what they will do.
Yeah. It depends on what you are. If it is someone like me, the question is right, what I will do. But if it is someone like Prabhupada,
They asked Purattalvar.
then what? Purattalvar, of course, is a very great devotee. Prabhupada, if the demigods come, they'll offer obeisance to Prabhupada. Your position is very great. But I can't think that if Surya come in front of me, well, you decide what you want to do, I'm a devotee. No. He is a devotee, I'm not a devotee. Therefore, we are meeting another devotee, we have to offer obeisance. We'll stop. Yes. Microphone. Mic 2. Last question.
Puji, Dandut Pranam. Thank you so much for wonderful class. You said in your class, whatever we think throughout the life, that things we become next birth. You given the reference of VG, Bhagavad-gita's source. Yes. So as a grihastha, we when we are in the temple, we always think about Rasbihari and Radharani's. And when we go out for the job purpose or for the business purpose, deal with the outside people, and then we forget what we did in the temple. How can we tackle this, and how can we how can I think 24/7 about Krishna?
This is a very, 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 very good question. So he's saying that whatever we think throughout the life is what will become at the point of death. But as a grahastha devotee, of course, when I come to the temple or I'm a devotee, I'm thinking of Radharasbihari. But when I go to work and I go home, I have to think of my family. So, therefore, there are 4 ashramas: Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So, a Grahastha is a Brahmana can take all 4 ashramas: Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. A Kshatriya can take only 3: Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha. He can't take sannyas. So that's why, okay, anyway. Then Vaishya, he can be Brahmachari and Grahastha. Generally, he will die in Grahastha ashrama. Family man. A Sudra cannot be even a Brahmachari. So he can be at best unmarried. That's not Brahmachari. Unmarried is not Brahmachari. But he can be. So, it is enjoined that one who is a Grahastha must actually proceed to Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So, by the age of 50 or 55, Panchottamam Vanam Brajet, you must go to the forest, which means you must arrange your life now such that at the age of 50 or 55, you can leave the family, give your wife to the son and go. There are rules and regulations for Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. Of these 4, the strongest rules are for Vanaprastha. So then Grahastha must enter the Vanaprastha stage, and at that stage, the tapasya he has to do is more than what a sannyasi has to do, because he has to forget the whole thing. This kind of things are there. But we always have the idea that if I'm performing service, then everything will adjust itself. So you have to be careful about that. The fact is that I'm obliged to think of my family, cannot not think of it. So Prabhupada said, make best use of the bad bargain. Even a body is like that, no? It has its own demands. Clear? Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanand.